Welcome after a short break. We are live with day 13 of our 30 days of PM challenge. So, today we have a new topic to discuss about things that a product manager typically does and what topics or what concepts are essential when getting started in a role in the product management space, right? So, we've covered day 1 from 1st of January 2024 till today, and we are looking at a new topic on a new day. And today it's all about user research and how do you make use of the research you have carried out, talking to all your stakeholders and customers who are using the product, and build insights out of that, make decisions using the insight and data that you have collected, and build products that scale. So we'll get right into the meat of the content, where first we look at why research analysis is important and what does it actually mean, right? So think of a scenario where, for example, you already, for example, have a feature built within the platform. It's pretty half baked. It was just done to show a customer and get some validation for them to be onboarded. Think of a B2B product in this scenario, right? So you built a feature. The filter, I mean, the feature does its job. It is not very comprehensive and it's not scalable enough. But now we have hit a roadblock where for you to get further new deals, this feature needs to be enhanced, right? Now, what do you do in this situation, right? You know you need to enhance this feature because you have a deal coming up that wants this feature to be enhanced because they want a few more additional capabilities added, which you haven't really thought of and haven't really planned for, but you have a tight schedule and tight deadline to achieve. And you also need to deliver this product update before the client request for an update, right? So what do you do here? So because the good thing here is, in this hypothetical scenario, you have something already built in essence, right? You have a feature that is available in its bare bones functionality. It doesn't do a lot, it does the bare minimum, but now you have to scale it from here. So what do? You look at analytics, you look at data. You could probably be using platforms like Pendo. You could be using platforms and analytic platforms like Amplitude. You might also be using some form of community and collaboration software within your organization and within your product to capture feedback from users and provide enhancements and provide feature updates to customers. So this would probably be your stepping stone, right? When you want to, for example, look at who actually is currently using this platform or this specific feature which I'm trying to enhance. So you look at the data for that. You look at who are the top users who spend the most amount of time using a particular feature that you have in the roadmap that you need to improve. So you take the amount of data you have, shortlist a series of users that you feel like might be able to provide you some feedback. Then what you can also do here, in this is a typical user research process, right? When a PM is assigned a specific feature category, and for them to enhance it, they always, instead of having an idea in your mind and trying to achieve it or deliver that without a lot of data backing what you are trying to do, and the validation of the decision that you have made, or a specific feature or enhancement to be delivered, it's always better to look at existing data that is available. Take that data, categorize it, I mean, organize the data as much as you can. The data can be as simple as the amount of time spent by users on a particular page that the feature resides on, right? And who spends how much time. And then look through your backlog of feature enhancement that probably have been requested on the similar feature, right? and and go through all the requirements that you probably have received from customers, which is part of your backlog, which you never really thought of prioritizing before, but now because you have upcoming deadline for a future potential customer to meet, you need to deliver this as soon as possible. But because you have limited amount of time, you need to do as much research and take the extract the amount of value you can from existing user research and existing data that is already available. So you look at the analytics first things. You look at data, categorize and organize that. You look at a backlog of requests that were that were related to the feature you are trying to enhance, and potentially something that relates to it, right? So there might be, for example, there are 5 features within your product, and you have this one specific feature which you feel is not mature enough, and you trying to enhance that, right? So see what other feature, the other accompanying features contribute to this specific feature, where all these things can be combined, or you could probably prepare a workflow that can enhance, or complement the abilities of this other feature that you're trying to enhance, right? So look at potential ways, look at requirements from previous backlogs that you have created, from customer conversations which you never really prioritize. Look at that data, try to even organize that into buckets of what do you think, where does a particular enhancement fall into. Is it a simple UI UX state? Is it more fundamental, where you need to look at data, or you need to change the underlying architecture in essence? So look at that, categorize and organize existing backlog data on a specific feature that you're trying to enhance this time, and then from the list of shortlisted users that you have seen from the data that you gathered, try to talk to a few of them, and don't really go to them directly. I think we have covered how to ask questions to customers and what sort of questions to ask for, because a lot of the times customers are lying to you, because in order to sound logical to you in a conversation or in a user interview, they will probably tell you things that are not really part of their workflow, right? Or not the typical process they follow when using or working with your tool. So be as, I mean, pose an open-ended question, ask them for a workflow that they currently use within the platform, where the specific feature that you're trying to enhance is part of it, and ask them clarifying questions on that specific. Do you think, is it really something that you would that you feel like needs to be enhanced? Are you okay with the current functionality? If yes, if not, why? And I mean, go dig deeper into the underlying root cause of the problem, right? If you can gather insights, get those insights. Always try to get as much insight, and potentially record, if possible, the meeting, and capture all the requirements. You can make rough notes along the process when interviewing users, and you can also talk to them and review the recordings later on and build decisions, right? A lot of the times it can also be a working session with the customer, where you can ask them for a workflow, look at, okay, so you mean you need this and that, and all of these combined together in that page, in a specific page of the platform. But I think we are probably looking at something else as well, which can do it much easier but doesn't require all the 5 steps. You could potentially reach the end goal in just 2 steps, or things of that sort. Try to iterate, have a working session with your customers, and gather as much insight on the specific feature you are trying to develop. Don't really force it onto them, because no one is here to do the job that you are supposed to do. But yeah, customers are key partners when enhancing and building features, and these sort of, collaborations and conversations with customers really help build trust, where they feel part of the team helping grow the product, right? In essence. So a lot of the times it always comes down to collaboration, talking to customers in a way where they don't really feel being interviewed, but it feeling like a free flowing conversation where you are talking and gaining insights, showing them what you think and what they feel about it, and what are their inputs and thoughts. A lot of the times a lot of things click together, and you probably might end up building a very, from your original insight of building X, you might have some additional insights that can probably make the product or make the feature even better than what you imagined it to be. So these are potential fundamentals when you go about user research, and how you turn that user research into insights. A lot of the times it can be number crunching, where in order to validate what the customer has told or given you as advice, you also need to, validate and back it up with data, right? So you probably run a few queries on your databases and see the amount of, for example, the count of something matching together based on the, for example, the number of times a user visits, and the number they actually tell that the number of times I've done this process takes me, for example, X amount of time, and it has too many steps as part of the process. I want to reduce it. See, have they really gone through the process? Is it really a pain point? Do you also put yourself self in the shoes of the customer and see, do you also feel the same way or not? So if you do, that's well and good. You have options to now iterate and clarify the requirements and clarify the problem at hand, and then build solutions and optimize for that as we go. But yeah, user research analysis is a lot of talking to customers, talking to your stakeholders, getting requirements. And the reason why you need to do this is very simple, right? These users are the eventual customers who will be using this product day and night, and it's often helpful to understand their workflow and their process of going about using the platform, because you as a producer or as a manager looking at the end product functionality to be built, you don't really have the same point of view as a customer, where they are a consumer, not really a producer of, for example, a particular technology that you have developed. And that is the main reason you want to collaborate with them. It helps if you're good at context switching and taking on a role of a customer and also a PM, and trying to juggle between both of those and figuring out the best way forward. But a lot of times it helps to just talk to your users and get answers from them, right? And this helps you make decisions. It actually can influence what needs to actually be prioritized. A lot of the time, customer, something that you might feel like is very important to be delivered as part of the product roadmap, but when you talk to customers, they don't really think of it as a critical problem, and they feel like there are other pressing issues than the one you have pitched. So it gives you a perspective into what needs to be prioritized and what comes first when it comes to the customer and their usage, and it helps you understand patterns of how a customer really works and uses the platform, and take your analysis from there and build from there. But yeah, I think you really need to do this analysis in terms of, if for example, in terms of determining what next needs to be improved on the platform, right? Or the product, in essence. A lot of the times why you need this and when you need this analysis, when you, for example, have a catch 22, right? Where you have multiple options to choose from, you don't really know what to do, and you need to make a decision. And to make a decision, it's always helpful to make a decision which eventually helps the business grow. It isn't really a lot of work wasted and amount of hours wasted on a particular task which doesn't really deliver the amount of value that it could have if, for example, another task would have been prioritized over it. So analysis and research helps you figure out what needs to go first and what is really on top of mind for customers, and also part of your business goals as well. Sometimes you think, a lot of the time, some features from customers are really top of their mind but aren't really value generators when it comes to the business. So you take a call, do I really need to deliver this to the customer, or I can tell them that yes, we have this, we are thinking about this, we are doing a lot of research behind the scenes, but I don't think we are planning it to be delivered anytime soon, or probably not in this or next quarter, but sometime later during the year, right? So these are ways to prioritize, and this analysis essentially helps you make those decisions, right? And even here it tells you, it then becomes a matter of determining why those patterns and themes exist in order to create new knowledge and insight about their customers, right? So it helps you gain more knowledge, it gets you a lot of insights, you get a lot of perspective into how customers are actually using. And for example, if you have 10 features within a product and you feel like, are do I need to eliminate any of these features, or put these behind some section where they are not visible because they don't really generate value and I don't really see a lot of customers? So for that, to make that call, you need to look at data, you need to really talk to customers. And a lot of times you can also experiment with them, just do a simple A/B test of removing a particular section of the feature and see if customers ask for that specific feature or not, right? If they ask, it means that they are using it, and if they are using it, you have now an opportunity to talk to them and ask them, okay, you use this feature, what do you think about this feature? Do you have any thoughts? Is it part of your daily workflow? Do you see value in this? What amount of value does it really save you time? What do you think are the drawbacks and things of that? So you always have these sort of follow-up questions that you can build and get more analysis and insights from what they are actually trying to achieve through the platform, right? A lot of the times things might work very well, and the feature that you intended was is actually being used the way it was supposed to be, and sometimes it is counterintuitive where customers are using it really the wrong way than what it is supposed to be. So that gives you insights and the ability to interact with them and ask them through their process of doing things, and if it makes sense and it is valuable enough for your the remaining reminder of your customer base, you can probably expand it there as well. But yeah, how to do this analysis? You have to set a few goals. For example, in the scenario we discussed, we were looking at a feature that was not really mature. It was in its nascent beginner stages of its maturity, and we were trying to look at ways of adding new capabilities to the feature such that the existing customer can also leverage it much beyond its existing capabilities. But even future customers, you can show them value to get them onboarded and using the platform. So this was the crux of the goal of analysis we took in this video. But there can be multiple reasons why you want to, for example, do a UX study or a typical user research as to how the behavior is of a customer of or a user uh, on a particular session when they're using the platform. Where do they spend their most time on, which and look at heat maps. You have multiple tools like Hotjar, you have Amplitude, you have Pendo, like we already mentioned, you have Intercom, you have Zendesk to talk to customers, give them updates, and essentially solve for any support related issues. But a lot of tools, for example, we have one here which is Audience, which helps you understand segments of audience, right? This is more marketing focused, but it has products and solutions that look at digital intelligence, look at data online, look at social media trends online, and determine behavior for users, right? And this gives you a potential way to target these customers and attract them as your customer eventual buyers. And you also have a visibility on what is trending at the moment in the market, and how you could probably align your strategy such that you have the best you have the best sales pipeline going through, generating leads and generating new customers sessions, right? So this is one of those tools that can help you in the research process. And this was the original article which was shared, where for example they have divided the segments of the user research they have done, where they have probably talked about free trials. They have collected various value propositions shared by customers of using their product or feature, and what was their, for example, the reason of their sign up. Why did they actually eventually decide to start, or give it a try with your platform? What was the process for them like? Did they feel it was straightforward and easy, or was there too many steps? And how the onboarding, if they felt any issues in that, or there are things that they feel like would be improved. And then what were their queries, or what were they confused about? So these are just examples of how you can categorize and categorize the user research and insights into segments, and then take decisions. For example, if you see a lot of queries, a lot of confusion in the onboarding section, a lot of frustration when it comes to onboarding and getting things onboarded, you could probably prioritize onboarding over sign up, where sign up is straightforward using social links. But whereas once they are signed up, they have confusion and they have hard time onboarding and getting started and getting to the aha moment, which is the main value deliver for the product, which makes the customer stick for a longer duration than just the first time they have logged in and visited the platform. So this is some ways you can analyze and categorize your data and make decisions and calls from there. And for example, they've also mentioned what types of questions and some research questions they can ask, which are more broader and more generalized. They target a specific function and area of the product, but are more uh, I mean free flowing for the customer to answer in any way, shape or form they would like. And it's not really a binary question where they have to answer in yes or no, or true or false. They can share their experience, and you have the ability to then record it and take decisions and calls from that. So yeah, these are also a few steps. Review your notes, tag and code, categorize, organize your data, and then see what patterns you see from these, right? A lot of customers might be using a feature in a certain way than you originally intended to be, and make a call, is the customer way the right way, and should I prioritize and fix a few things within the product that makes their workflow easier and matures the pattern and the onboarding flow and experience of customer in general, right? So these are a few ways to generate user research, get user research done. In a typical PM's job, this really isn't a lot of, you don't really have a lot of time to do all this research. You have, for example, you get a request from a customer, you try to get as much data from your existing analytics platform, and from the backlog of similar requests that have been generated, try to piece things together, come up with a generalized solution that you feel like is at least step one of the process, and feel and can probably solve a few issues of the customer. Go to the customer, talk to them, you do the user research and analysis phase of things, show them what you have built, what do you think, get their inputs, uh, come back, relook at what was told and what was discussed over the meeting, organize data based on that, rebuild or rebuild another approach or iterate on the proposed solution and the way to solve for the problem. And then you have the process of going to engineering, talking to them, getting approvals from all the stakeholders, getting all of them aligned, then actually going about shipping the feature and delivering it and iterating the process once again. Once it's delivered, you get feedback and iterate and improve, and the cycle goes on. So research is not really like a specific section, it's always, you are always researching, always trying to get insights as to what behavior and patterns the customers have reached to, and iterate and improve from there, right? So a lot of the times it's also calling, taking shots, making bets within yourself, that for example, you don't really have the data to back some decisions, but in the moment and due to the lack of time and the priorities and this, I mean, shortened timelines, you need to make a call. But for example, there are good bets that you can take based on your feeling, based on conversations, based on your insights of working on the product and working with the customers. Take a bet and iterate and improve from there. If the bet works out, good. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board, look at what needed to be done, what else needed to be added, if there are more pieces that need to come together to make the feature successful, do that. But if it doesn't really make sense in a business or the amount of time spent wise, just, I mean, scratch that, right, and move on and iterate and improve from there. So these are a few ways you take user research as part of your product manager role and work on and iterate and improve on building features. You have this great resource also from Reforge, which has multiple frameworks you can search for. They have this thing called artifacts, which talks about a lot of things related to product onboarding, research, and this was one of those I mean, artifacts that I found around user research prep. So here they've used a FigJam template to take all the user research and turn it into insights. So you have decisions, you have the evidences to back those decisions, and what questions led to those decisions, right? And then you have a way to organize this data, look at why you are making a specific decision, one decision one over decision two, and why and reasons to back that, right? And the questions that eventually led to the evidence and to the decision, and then take a call what needs to be prioritized and taken up for development. So these are a few resources. I'll link them in the YouTube description and also in the video, and on our Twitter profiles that you can look at later on, about user research and how do you really take a lot of this data, make sense out of it. It is like a beginner version of doing data science, but you're not really playing with a lot of data, uh, like number crunching and all of that. You're looking at beginners and just analytics that are being tracked, taking bets, taking decisions based on interactions and customer reviews and customer sessions, and building and iterating on your product feature and maturing it from there as your, which was your eventual goal, and deliver it to the customers. There will always be uh, things you can add, more things that you can add, but it's Better to start with something small, iterate and improve from there, and get more feedback along the way, instead of having one big sort of document with 10 different features where uh, 8 of them don't really see adoption. So it's better to do one feature at a time, get feedback, iterate and improve, over doing 10 features and then asking for feedback to customers and them having no clue as to what the feature is actually supposed to do, and wasting everyone's time along the process, right? Even your resources, and also the customers time and their amount of energy they have to spend. So it's always better to keep researching, keep getting those insights, making decisions, taking call, using those insights into valuable addition features into the product, and going and scaling your product from there. So you also have this document around personas and how you should write stories that are more persona based, are metrics heavy, are backed by data and make sense to users, right? And we've already discussed about this resource called Audisense. Helps you understand buyer personas, helps you understand digital intelligence in terms of trends in the market and trends on social and digital media. But yeah, I think that's it for our day 13 of our turning user research into insights, taking decisions, taking calls from these insights, and building great features. See you tomorrow on day 14, where we talk about another new topic in the product management space that a typical product manager deals with, and creates features, creates products that scale and help customers along the way and solves their problems. But yeah, that's it for today. See you soon. Thank you.